correct me if this is incorrect, you want non-citizens to be counted in terms of determining the representation for elected officials here at the Capitol, and you know, by extension, I assume the U.S. Capitol as well. Is that incorrect?
Mr. Chair, I mean, it is absolutely correct.
Let the record reflect then that you just said it was correct that you want non-citizens to be counted for representation.
That is, Mr. Chair, that is in fact the current interpretation of that clause in the Constitution that talks about counting the people in the United States. That is the job of the U.S. Census.
I do appreciate an honest Democrat, because you're saying the quiet part out loud.
And Mr. Chair,
that point?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So yeah, Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution gives U.S. Congress the responsibility to conduct the census. The scope is defined as census counts every resident in the United States. Do you believe that undocumented people are residents?
I believe that undocumented people right now are being deported in mass numbers because they aren't legally supposed to be here. And so no, I do not believe that our founders intended for non-citizens, who we've had 10 to 20 million over the last 4 years enter illegally into this nation at the hands of the Biden regime, the Democrats.
Here we go. So
I do not believe that they should be counted in terms of determining representation here at the Arizona legislature, or in any state legislature for that matter, or for the U.S. Congress. And I don't believe that's accurate.
Would you rather Hamas rule America or our current government?
Honestly, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for that. Honestly, no comment.
Well, I'm gay, and Hamas does not like gay people. That's like a known fact. Okay. So I personally wouldn't want that.
Does our current government like gay people?
I mean, they don't throw them off the tops of buildings or rip their stomachs open.
Could they someday?
Our current government?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Possibly.
Do you support a boycott of Tesla?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I want him to go bankrupt.
Is that a good idea to go after Tesla? Shut it down?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you consider yourself an environmentalist or no?
Yeah.
I do care about the environment. Actually, in my neighborhood, they call them the recycle czar.
Boycotting, bankrupting Tesla, how in your view does that further the environmental cause in your view?
I think it brings more attention to it at the very least. Does it actively further it? Who's to say?
How does that further the environmental cause, would you say?
Well, look at it. Look at all the recalls already. The lithium batteries and stuff. They always, and that's not good anyway. You know, I mean, us ordinary citizens can't dispose lithium batteries just anywhere.
Would you be against then firebombing them because it's bad for the environment? Firebombing a Cybertruck, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to give out toxic fumes and stuff.
Probably some.
But I'm saying it's really the power to the people.
Lighting fires to Teslas, vandalizing. Are we in support of that or no? What are your thoughts?
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most supportive, I would say 8 to 9.
Is anxious? What do you do? Yeah. Well, sure. That would make me anxious as well. What did you do before?
Worked for the DNC.
Yeah, they're cutting jobs right now, I'll tell you that. Everyone out. We need 100% turnover. What did you do for the DNC? I'm sorry, I don't think anyone did a worse job than you. This guy's here, bro. You did the worst job. Really? I wanted to do a set, but now I'm really interested in what you're saying. You were countering misinformation. How are you supposed to go about doing that? Just commenting on TikToks? Yeah, actually, if you look at the facts, this isn't true. Going on Rogan's YouTube page. Well, if you look at it, vaccines are actually quite safe. From the DNC official page. Yeah, no. I know, we're all in this room, we all know. You might want to just not say that was your last job. What are you applying for now? What?
To me, it's easier because he's in the country illegally. I don't need to have any evidence that he's part of MS-13 or Tren de Aragua for him not to be in this country. He's already in the country illegally.
You don't feel for him in his situation?
No, that's not at all.
Why?
Again, well, let's look at the reason, right? In 2012, he came into the country illegally based on asylum case, right?
Right.
Didn't apply for asylum.
He doesn't speak English.
I don't care. Well, there's Spanish immigration lawyers.
Do you know what they tell people? Do you know what they tell people in Latin America? They say if you run into somebody who is in a uniform, they will put you in jail. They hear a whole bunch of horror stories. They hear horror stories about what happens to you, so that's why they're trying to evade it. They don't speak the language. They can't explain themselves.
That's good. I don't want people to come into this country feeling comfortable doing so illegally.
I don't know why a person who lives on this side of an imaginary line deserves to exist less than a person on this side of an imaginary line.
They all have the right to exist,
they
right?
They have the right to exist.
They can exist in their country, and if they want to come to our country, they can do so legally.
Then don't call yourself compassionate, because it's.
I'm compassionate against cartels abusing illegal immigration, the massive amount of atrocity.
And I am too. I told you, throw them away forever.
I know you are. I'm compassionate for
legal... And I know
legal...
you're compassionate. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm just like...
No. I'm compassionate for legal immigration.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
No, I'm not offended whatsoever.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that I don't feel compassion, and that's why I say it's reasonable for you to say that for an individual that is here illegally. I may feel some sort of compassion if it's a legitimate asylum case, but based off the data that we have and based off this evidence that we have of him not seeking asylum for 7 years, that's enough reason for me to say, obviously, he's just BSing.
Have you watched Adolescence yet?
The BBC tried to embarrass Kemi Badenoch this morning, but I think that she embarrassed them.
No, I haven't. I probably won't. It's a film on Netflix, and most of my time right now is spent visiting the country.
It's a four-part series on Netflix, and everyone is talking about it. It is prompting conversations about toxic masculinity, smartphone use, young men feeling that they're being ignored, the idea of misogyny being increased in school. Why would you not want to know what people are talking about?
Well, I think that those are all important issues, and those were issues that I've been talking about for a long time. But in the same way that I don't need to watch Casualty to know what's going on in the NHS, I don't need to watch a specific Netflix drama to understand what's going on. It's a fictional series. It is not a documentary.
What are your thoughts on conservatism?
Wholeheartedly conservatives.
All of them?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. Hey, fair enough. Do you believe that conservatives are a danger to society?
Yes. No, but I think the way that they think of things, like the way that it should be, I think that's a danger to society. Not them personally, because a lot of conservatives tend to be hypocritical and live the way that they want to live, but judge others with how they're living.
I think you can change your sex. How can you ever call anybody stupid? If it is men's duty in society to procure, refine, protect resources, which then women and children are the primary beneficiaries of, which they are. What societal duty, which is equal to that, do women have? What is it?
Women, we're going to have children. Men will never understand the burden of carrying a child.
So you have a duty to reproduce?
I expect women to be able to cook and clean.
Wait, so you have women have a duty to reproduce?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So that's the one duty that's on par. Great. So that's one duty that's on par with that. I totally agree. Are they? Or is it the case that in every single nation in the West, we are under reproductive rates in every single one of them? In every single nation in the West, we are lower than where we need to be for reproduction. So it seems that men are fulfilling their social duty and women are not. And the problem with the right is that the right doesn't ever address this, and right-wing females never address this. Instead, they say it's equal. Work and motherhood are equal. They're not equal. Not only are they not equal, but let me give you another example here. As you dive into this, try to understand that what you do is you actually hamstring women by telling women they should go and be girl boss babes and go to college starting in their 20s. They actually destroy their prime reproductive years. They destroy them by having families later. It's the primary cause.
Okay, that's silly. I'm 23.
Hang on, listen.
It's
the primary cause for the reproduction crisis. It's the primary cause of the reproduction crisis in the West, is that with women defer families till they're in their 30s. Why do you think the average age of marriage is 32 in the United States? I think it just got raised to 33. Yes, you're going to have way less kids. Okay, part of girl bossing is when you say career women are right on par with mothers. They're not, and society should be glorifying one, not socially shaming the other, but you shouldn't give them the same elevation you give to mothers and matrons of families. That is pure covert feminism.
Okay. On the other hand, I'll ask you a question in return. Would you prefer a child growing up in a damaged family with a mother who clearly wasn't ready to raise a child and raise potentially what could be, a deranged child who grows up to be a serial killer or a murderer, or how about this, just a really bad person, rather than wait a few more years until she's ready to have her kid and then raise a mensch? What do you prefer?
Well, so here's what we can see when we break this down. What we see when we break this down is the abuse happens in the public school, where you're 100 times more likely to be essayed than you are if you're in a Catholic church. We see that if it is the case that you're a single mother, you are a single mother, especially by choice, that is usually the selection of stepfather that leads to the abuse of the children. We also can see via the stats that you're completely just insane here. You are actually, if you stay inside of a family where mom and dad don't even like each other, your outcomes are still better than if the girl boss, goes, I just don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel fulfilled, and so I need to go and date the neighbor down the road or whatever, right? The truth is that regardless of your fulfillment, children are the duty. The next generation is the duty, and women have a duty to keep the family intact as well. They're responsible for most of the divorces. They file for the most amount of divorces, not because of abuse, but because of irreconcilable differences.
Bring in Stasia, who's been grimacing throughout that. Stasia, why are you so outraged by what he's saying?
I'm not outraged. I just think that you all are fairly stupid. And everything that's being said is ridiculous. And it's just like a comedy show.
You think you can change your sex? How can you ever call anybody stupid? How can you ever call anybody stupid?
Yeah,
you
she should sit that one out.
Oh, I zoned out and I thought I'd woken up in the 1950s in some TARDIS. You can't take him seriously. It's ridiculous. I mean, do you know how insecure and pathetic you sound? You can't take you seriously.
Eat another donut, lady.
I'll just finish. I get that you reckon that you're some big shock jock, and I know that you're desperately trying to be relevant, but you sound so insecure and so pathetic. You are
Do you have
irrelevant.
an argument? Can you put the Duncan down for a second and give me an argument? Do you have an argument? Or is it just
Sorry, I
Andrew
haven't heard
Bad?
one from you.
Yes, I've given you multiple arguments for the social fabric of all of society and how we can improve it, what we need to be doing, what we need to be moving towards. I gave you all the stats. I gave you argument after argument. Can you give me a single argument?
All the stats. You are the oracle. You know all about the universe and what's going to progress humankind. You're just a shock
It's
jock,
not
mate.
psychic ability.
You're just pathetic. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're an
Wendy, are you going to have
aggressive,
an argument?
insecure man.